What's up, everybody? Back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. We're doing another Remember When video. It's been a series I've been doing a little bit in the offseason, looking back on some past teams in the past few years that maybe you kind of forgotten about, where they weren't really super amazing, great teams that won a championship or anything, but they were just kind of important teams that have happened last years that maybe you forgot about. And today we're doing another one in honor of Damian Lillard being traded this week and leaving the Portland Trail Blazers. We're doing a video on the 2019 Portland Trail Blazers, the team that went the farthest with Damian Lillard. It was a very historic and very exciting playoff run that I just want to relive because it was very, very fun. I have a playlist now on my channel of all the Remember Wins I've done, so you can go over there and watch all those in case you missed any of them. And yeah, thank you guys for the views and the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications to also like that. I'd really appreciate it. It lives out a lot. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we'll start at the end of the 2017-2018 season. The Blazers finished with a 49-33 record, the third seed in the Western Conference, but that season came to an unfortunate end as they were swept in the first round by the 6th seed New Orleans Pelicans. A very rough end to what could have been maybe a promising season. Going to the offseason, they didn't make any huge, significant changing moves, but they made a few. In the NBA draft, they selected Anthony Simons with the 24th overall pick, and then they also made a draft day trade, trading cash and 2 second-round picks to the Sacramento Kings for the rights to Gary Trent Jr. These 2 moves don't help them this season, but you know what they implement later down the line. In free agency, their big move is re-signing their big man Jusuf Nurkic to a 4-year, $48 million deal, coming off a career season and having a really good time in Portland. They also signed Nick Stauskas, and they signed Seth Curry to a contract, as Curry missed the entire season before with a tibia injury. Coming to the season, the Blazers still had some pretty solid expectations. I mean, Damian Lillard was only getting better and better and really asserting himself as a superstar in the league, while also having a really good 2 in CJ McCollum. But they had a very solid team overall around them with Jusuf Nurkic, Mo Harkless, Al-Farouq Aminu, Myers Leonard, Zach Collins, Evan Turner. I mean, this was an okay team. This wasn't a team that a lot of people expected to win a championship, but it was still going to be a team that you're not going to take lightly, you know? So usually when we do these Remember Ones, we go through the regular season and we get to the playoffs and stuff. But for this one, I feel like the playoffs are the most exciting thing, so we're just going to kind of skip the regular season. Nothing really spontaneous happened during the regular season. I'm going to hit on a few points that happened, but really we're just going to kind of get right to the playoffs. So in the regular season, they made a move at the trade deadline that wasn't really super significant in the moment, but later down the line is going to be a little bit more significant. At the trade deadline, they traded away Wade Baldwin, Nick Stauskas, and 2 second-round picks to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for Rodney Hood. The Cavaliers are doing a rebuild at this point, and Rodney Hood was a very solid shooting wing that could create his own, but also, you know, if he can shoot, he could do that as well. They also made a move on the buyout market, signing Enes Kanter, as Kanter was in a rebuilding situation in New York and just kind of got let go, but Portland went in and snatched him up. They also went on a 6-game winning streak late in the season to kind of solidify their spot as having a home court advantage in the first round. But unfortunately, during that 6-game winning streak in a game against the Brooklyn Nets, they would lose their starting center Jusuf Nurkic for the season after suffering a horrific leg injury. As Nurkic was having a career season, averaging over 15 points and 10 rebounds with 3 assists, a steal, and almost 1.5 blocks per game. He was really, really good. But fortunately, they did sign Enes Kanter as a backup, but a very tough loss for Portland. Trailblazers finished that regular season going 53-29, finishing 4th in the Western Conference. Damian Lillard had another amazing season, averaging just under 26 points per game with 4 rebounds, almost 7 assists, and a steal, while shooting 44% from the field, 37% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. He's made the All-Star team and made All-NBA second team. While CJ McCollum had another great year, averaging 21, 4, and 3 on 46% shooting with 37% from 3, and Enes Kanter in his 20-something games with Portland averaged 13, 8, and assist on 57% shooting during the season. The Blazers finished with the 3rd best offense in the league at that point, as Dame and CJ were really doing it. I mean, those two were really just dominating the game as one of the best backcourts in the league, while they're the 16th ranked defense. So pretty average, not bad, not great, just an average defense coming into this playoffs. They had a little bit of expectations, but it was not going to be easy to surpass those expectations. In the first round, they would play against the number 5 seed Oklahoma City Thunder, who finished 49-33, led by Russell Westbrook and a Paul George, who was just coming off having an amazing season, averaging 28-8, finishing third in MVP voting. While Westbrook was still there, they had guys like Dennis Schroeder, Steven Adams, Jeremy Grant taking a step. This was going to be a very fun series. Westbrook and George versus Lillard and McCollum. I mean, all eyes were on this 4-5 matchup. In Game 1, Portland came out hot, outscoring OKC 39-25, hitting a barrage of threes early, but OKC would come back, outscoring Portland 23-15 in the second quarter. It would be a very tight game throughout the rest of it, but Damian Lillard in the fourth quarter would hit some huge shots as Portland would win Game 1 at home, 104-99. Lillard finished with 30 points on 5 for 11 shooting from 3, while McCollum put him 24, and Enes Kanter had a huge game, putting in 20 points and 18 rebounds. And of course, just so you don't forget, that the entirety of this series, you have Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard going at each other. A lot of trash talk ensues and makes the series even more fun than it already originally was going to be. In Game 2, Portland came out big in the third quarter, outscoring OKC 37-21. And the duo of Lillard and McCollum dominated, combining for 62 points as Portland would blow out OKC 114-94 in Game 2. McCollum finished with 33 and 5, while Lillard had 29, and Mo Harkless put in 14 points with 9 rebounds. As Portland was now up 2-0, going back to OKC. In Game 3, OKC had a big second quarter, outscoring Portland 28-17. And even though it was a very high-scoring third quarter, with Portland putting up 43 points, the fourth was really where it was over, as OKC outscored Portland 34-26 in the fourth with a lot of free throws, and Russell Westbrook having a really good game. OKC finally took one game, winning 120-108. For Portland, Dame finished with 32, McCollum had 21, and Kanter had 19. OKC had 5 players scoring double figures, led by Westbrook, who put up 33, 5, and 11 assists, and now it was 2-1. In a big Game 4, after a very tight first half, Portland outscored OKC 29-22 in the third quarter, after hitting some big free throws and big shots. Portland would take Game 4 in OKC 111-98. McCollum finished with 27 as 5 Portland players scored in double figures. Portland was now up 3-1, going back home with a chance to get OKC out of this in 5 games. We're going to go right to the last 2:15 of this game, because this was one of the most wildest games in recent playoff memory. Paul George gets fouled and misses 2 free throws. And after a couple misses on both sides, CJ McCollum hits a big layup off the glass to make it a 4-point game. After Jeremy Grant missed, Russell Westbrook will commit a foul on Mo Harkless, and Harkless will hit 2 free throws to make it a 2-point game with a minute 22 left. Paul George hits it stolen by Seth Curry. On the other end, CJ McCollum hits a tough step back mid-range jumper to tie the game with 57 seconds. Paul George will come back and hit a jumper to make it a 2-point lead. After pulling timeout, Damian Lillard will go coast to coast and hit a layup to tie the game with 32 seconds left. After Westbrook will miss, Alpha Community got the rebound, and at this point on, Damian Lillard hits one of the most iconic shots in recent memory, hitting from almost half court a 3-ball at the buzzer and waving off the Oklahoma City Thunder to win Game 5 118-115. Lillard would finish with 50 points in Game 5, including hitting the game winner, one of the greatest closeout games we have seen. While Mo Harkless and CJ McCollum also put up 17, and Enes Kanter would have 13 points and 13 rebounds. Portland would win this series in 5 games. In the first round, Lillard averaged 33 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists with 2.5 steals on 46% shooting and 48% shooting from 3. While McCollum averaged 24, 5, and 4. Kanter averaged 13 and 10. Mo Harkless averaged 11, and Alpha Camino averaged 10 points on 40% shooting from 3. Their second round matchup was against the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are one of the nice, young, up-and-coming teams, finishing with 54 wins in this season and beating the San Antonio Spurs in 7 games in the first round. It's going to be another very tough matchup for the Blazers. In Game 1, the third quarter was the difference, as Denver outscored Portland 35-29 after Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray hit some big free throws and big shots at the end of the game. Denver would beat Portland in Game 1 121 to 113 as Jokic finished with 37, 9, and 6. Despite Lillard putting in 39 points, he had a tough shooting game, shooting just 4 for 12 from 3, while Kanter put in 26 and Rodney Hood put up 17 off the bench. They're now already down 1-0. In Game 2, Portland flipped the script as they had a big first half, outscoring Denver 22-12 in the third quarter. Despite Denver making a good comeback in the fourth quarter, it was not enough as CJ McCollum hit some big shots in this game. Portland would win Game 2 97-90 as McCollum finished with 26 and 6, while 6 players scored in double figures for Portland. There's now 1-1 series going back home. Game 3 was another very historic, iconic game. Going to the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, Portland was down 5 with Mo Harkless with a big three-pointer and then a layup to tie the game 100. Lillard would hit a shot to make it 102-100, but Will Barton would come back and hit the layup to tie the game. And after Mo Harkless missed a shot at the buzzer, it will go into overtime. In overtime, only a few points were scored. CJ McCollum scored a few points at the beginning of OT. And then Jamal Murray had a big three-pointer, and Paul Millsap hit a layup with 47 seconds to make it a 2-point lead. And CJ McCollum, with 8 seconds left, would hit the shot after Jokic missed a 3 at the buzzer. We will now go into double overtime. In double OT was another very back and forth game. CJ McCollum had another big shot with 1:27 left to make it 118-116, but Gary Harris would come back on the other end and make a layup, and CJ McCollum would miss a couple shots late, and Damian Lillard missed the game-winning 3, and we would have to go to a triple overtime. Overtime was once again very tight. Jamal Murray hit 2 free throws with 1:25 to make it 127-125, and Paul Millsap hit a layup with 32 seconds to make it 129-125 with 32 seconds left, looking like the game was over. But Damian Lillard hit a big layup to make it a 2-point game, and after a turnover by Jamal Murray, Lillard hit another layup to tie the game with 8 seconds left. Jamal Murray will miss another 3 at the buzzer, and we now have to go into a 4th overtime. In the 4th overtime, with 2 minutes left, Rodney Hood was subbed into the game after not playing throughout the entirety of the overtime, with Portland down 133-131. Hood would make a jumper with a minute left to tie the game at 133, and Hood would make another shot with 44 seconds left to make it 135-134. After that, Hood would make another jumper with 18 seconds left to make it 138-136 Portland. Nikola Jokic get fouled and make 1 out of 2 free throws, and Seth Curry would hit 2 free throws at the end of the game, and Portland would win Game 3 in quadruple overtime, 140-137. CJ McCollum finished with 41-8-4 with 4 steals on 16 for 39 shooting, while Lillard finished with 28, and Rodney Hood put up 19 points off the bench, being the savior for Portland. In Game 4, after a very tight first half, the third quarter was the difference as Denver outscored Portland 27-14. Even though Portland made it a close game, the Nuggets would hit all of their free throws late in this one and would win Game 4 116-112 by Jamal Murray's 34 points, despite CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard combining for 57. And now the series was tied 2-2 going back to Denver. In Game 5, Denver absolutely dominated Portland, outscoring them 34-22 in the second and 28-13 in the third. As 6 players were scoring double figures for Denver, and they would blow out Portland 124-98 in Game 5 as Lillard and McCollum both had very tough shooting nights. Portland was now 1 loss away from going home, but they'll go back to Portland Game 6. You know that it's going to be all hands on deck for them. In Game 6, Portland had a big second quarter, outscoring Denver 32-20, and it was very tight throughout the entirety of it, but the fourth quarter, big difference maker as Seth Curry and Rodney Hood with 2 big three-pointers midway through, and Zach Collins also providing some energy. Portland would win Game 6 119-106 as CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard combined for 62 points, while Rodney Hood put up 25 off the bench, and now there will be a Game 7 in Denver. In Game 7, Denver came out in a hot first quarter, but Portland would respond back, and it was a very tight fourth quarter. Evan Turner was big in this game as well, hitting big, making big plays all over the place, but CJ McCollum really was the guy. He hit 3 big shots in the last 3 minutes of this game. Portland led by 3 with 12 seconds left. After that, Jokic would get fouled and make 1 out of 2 free throws to make it a 2-point game. Evan Turner would then hit 2 free throws for 8 seconds left to seal the game, and Portland would win Game 7, 100-96. CJ McCollum finished with 37 points. Absolutely amazing performance. So Evan Turner put up 14 points off the bench, and Portland would advance to the conference finals. In this series, CJ McCollum was the leading scorer, averaging 26 points and 6 rebounds with 3 assists, shooting 45% from the field, while Lillard averaged 25, 5, and 6. Rodney Hood was a big factor, averaging 14 points on 57% shooting, and Enes Kanter averaged 12 and 11 rebounds. Portland was now moving on to the conference finals for the first time since 2000. 19 years it took for Portland to get this far, and it was not going to be easy as they had a matchup with the #1 team in the league, the Golden State Warriors. I mean, we know the Warriors are at this point. At this point, they won the last 2 championships, 3 in the last 4 years. They won 57 games. And they had very tough first 2 matchups, beating the Clippers and the Rockets both in 6 games. But for Portland, they're going to have to go through the gauntlet in order to win this series. In Game 1, it was a very tight first 3 quarters, but in the 4th, Golden State would outscore Portland 39-23 and take Game 1 116-94. Even though 5 players scored in double figures for Portland, Steph Curry would finish with 36 and Klay would have 26, and Golden State would take a 1-0 series lead. In Game 2, Portland came out dominating, outscoring Golden State 34-21 in the second quarter, but the third quarter Warriors were a real thing, outscoring Portland 39-24 in the third. In the fourth quarter, it was very, very close. Portland actually had a big of a lead at one point, leading by 8 with 4 minutes left, but in the last 4 minutes, Golden State would outscore Portland 14-3 and would win Game 2 114-111. In Game 3, once again, Portland would show out in the first half, outscoring Golden State 37-26 in the second, and Myers Leonard putting into the starting lineup, having a big game, scoring 16 points for them. But the third quarter Warriors, as they outscored Portland 29-13. Steph Curry had another amazing game, and Golden State will win Game 3 110-99. Portland was quickly now down 3-0 in the series, and I mean, they needed at least one. In the conference finals, you can't get swept, right? This game came down to the wire. After Dame Lillard and Myers Leonard hit some big shots late in this game, Klay Thompson had a big 3-pointer with a minute 48 to tie the game, and no one could score in the last minutes, and we went into overtime. In overtime, Portland had some good threes. They just could not make them. Dame Lillard didn't get a shot till 32 seconds left, where he made a layup at the rim. But Dame also missed a 3-pointer with 1 second left that would have won them the game. And Golden State won Game 4, 119-117, sweeping the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers made it to the conference finals for the first time in the Damian Lillard era, but it just was not enough, as they just couldn't overcome the Golden State Warriors. And unfortunately, they never could make it back there, as now Damian Lillard is no longer a Blazer, which is very weird to say, but it is true. But just wanted to relive this 2019 Blazer run, because I remember watching it in real time. It was very fun, but looking back at it now, it was a great time. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications to also hit that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Again, I have a playlist now of all these Remember When, so if you want to check out any other ones you missed, you can go back and watch those. If you like the content, consider subscribing. I think I said that already, but whatever. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.